From Southern Ontario, November 9th. General news update ramble here from Canada and on a global level. So, the recent carbon tax kerfuffle, they had a vote in Parliament to remove the carbon tax on heating all across the country, not just the East Coast. Jimmy Jaggy and crew managed to come off looking kind of okay because they sort of voted to have it removed. But the Bloc Québécois backed up the Liberals. And so, we're all still paying carbon tax, except for the East Coast, the Atlantic provinces. Well, 2 points here. What skin in the game does Quebec have? Because they don't pay carbon tax. Yeah. Same with the Canadian pension plan. They back up the Liberals on Alberta and stuff they're trying to stymie Alberta's potential to leave the Canadian pension plan. Quebec has its own pension plan. So what kind of dirty backroom dealing's going on now? It's crazy how corrupt it is. Crazy. Yeah. Anyways, in other news, our Canadian food banks are turning away immigrant students here on student visas because they're overburdened. It's heat or eat here in Canada, and the food banks are just being overwhelmed. So they've put up notices that say, hey, look, when you came here on a student visa, you were to be resourced adequately to support yourself. Forget what, terminology that's used, right? But yeah, that's part of their getting a student visa. They're not supposed to be like on the Swellby system, I'll say. Yeah, so that's going to create some hullabaloo, isn't it? In other news, I see just about every European country is having to take a hard line. They're drawing up legislation. Sweden, I mentioned, turning out the armed forces to back up the police with the migrant youth gangs. Oh, it's in Poland, it's in France, it's everywhere. Too little, too late? UK with their no-go zones, the police won't even go in without the army to back them up. Belfast City, you can't walk the streets there. Well, in their no-go zones. Yeah. And in summation, this weekend, November 11th, Armistice Day, and Sunday, I guess in the UK they call it Remembrance Day. They take that, as I've mentioned before, very seriously. The whole Remembrance Day, I'll say. And the police asked the pro-Palestinian protesters, well, how about you take the weekend off? Let us celebrate, if celebrate's the right word, something that's very important to the United Kingdom people. No was the answer. But yeah, Scotland Yard and the London Metropolitan Police asked them not to protest. Didn't tell them not to. Are we going to have any problems with that here this weekend in Canada? I'm not so sure because, as I said in a previous video, the UK was at war. Canada went to war. So we have a lesser value on it here in Canada. Not to downplay it, don't take me wrong. It's going to point at my heart and my poppy, but that's a different jacket. Somebody said in the video the other day, don't you know you're supposed to wear it over your heart? Don't you know the phone, when it's aimed this way, is a mirror image? Anyways, that's kind of a little bit of an update on what's going on in the world. None of it's pretty.